Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aime and I love talking about the environment. And today we're going to be talking about intentional shopping, what it is, and then I'm also going to be going through some of the things that I consider to be intentional and kind of my thought process behind buying the item and just kind of showcasing what intentional shopping is. So what exactly is intentional shopping? I'm definitely not the expert on this. This is something that I first kind of heard being talked about on Shell Bizzle's channel. I'm going to link her in the description, but if you watch my channel, you probably already know who she is. Essentially, I consider intentional shopping to be three things. Number one, buying what you need. I think this is the most important part. Especially in today's society, we get roped into buying things we don't need all the time. I'm not even gonna lie, I've definitely fallen for it, especially with our culture of like TikTok shop, Instagram shop. Our social media platforms have basically turned into shopping platforms, and we also get shown so many videos of like must-haves and things that you need for XYZ.
Amazon home gadgets. I found 2 water dispensers.
The smart mouthwash dispenser that includes 2 magnetic cups.
None of this is sponsored or gifted. I bought it all with my own money and I highly recommend. First up, we have this super cute rain cloud humidifier and oil diffuser.
If something only gets put into your brain to buy because of a video, it is not a necessity, let's be serious. The second component I consider to intentional shopping is shopping secondhand, and the reason behind this is making sure that we are reducing the amount of energy and resources that are extracted for the things that we use. Making sure that you take your time and you look for things secondhand, even if it takes you months before you actually buy it, I think is really important for intentional shopping. Obviously, not everything can be purchased secondhand, and sometimes there is an emergency and you need to buy something like today. Unless you really need something really quickly, take your time and try to find it secondhand. There's a lot of online places you can buy things. I've even found things like, I'll have like a running list of things that I'm like, oh, this would be nice, this would be cool to have this. And then whenever I go into a thrift store, I can either check that list or I'll remember and I'll be like, oh my god, I've been looking for this. I'm trying to think of an example for that. Ooh, a piano. I've been wanting a piano for a long time, and I was just at Salvation Army a couple months ago and I saw a piano for $20. So that's the second component, making sure that we're shopping secondhand when we can and just taking our time. I think that's like a big part of intentional shopping. And then the third component to intentional shopping is making sure that you're keeping things as long as possible. And this is directly connected to the first point of making sure you buy things that you need, because if you're buying things that you need, then you're probably going to keep it for a long time because you actually needed it. If I find this video, I'm going to link it, but I watched this video about this girl who was talking about how, and I'm guilty of this for sure, but like secondhand has become kind of like the new fast fashion. Obviously not the same thing at all, but a lot of people, me included, buy a lot of clothes secondhand, and we don't really aren't as intentional with shopping because we're like, oh, it's secondhand, blah blah blah.
Usually when we, as in like Gen Z and stuff, have this conversation about overconsumption, we usually focus on fast fashion. But I think we leave out thrifting because we tend to think we're doing more for the environment than we really are.
Especially if you're buying things like electronics or things that aren't secondhand, making sure that you keep things for as long as possible is so important to reduce waste and make sure that you're not having an impact on, you're having the lowest possible impact on the environment. So yeah, that's kind of a little tidbit on intentional shopping. And now let's get into 10 things in my apartment that I consider to be intentional shopping and kind of walking you guys through it. And the reason that I'm sitting in my bed today, if you watch my videos, you'll probably know like this isn't my regular background. I'm going to start with my bed as like the first intentional shopping thing. So I got this bed from, where did I get it from? So I got this bed from Facebook Marketplace, and it is like vintage. I want to like repaint it. I don't know what color I would do. Maybe just white again. I consider this to be intentional shopping because I was looking for a bed frame for literally months. But one, I wanted something that wasn't too expensive. This was $40, and it's so beautiful. So I feel like this is going to last me for years. It might be counterintuitive, but I knew because this wasn't like a newer piece like from IKEA or even from modern furniture brands, I knew that it would last because newer pieces that these companies are making, even if it's high-end, are breaking so much faster than like older pieces. So that's why my bed is vintage, because I know it's gonna last a lot longer. That's why I consider it to be one of the most intentional pieces that I purchased, because I really took my time in finding something that, one, I really liked, and two, I knew would be really high quality and also was cheap and secondhand. So 10 wins for this for sure. Well, let's not look outside my window. So we're now across from where I was just sitting on my bed, and we're at my desk, which I can show you guys, also vintage, and this was also like $30, so love this. But that's not what we're here for. So the second thing that I consider to be intentional shopping is kind of to the third point I said of keeping things for as long as possible, is my computer. I'll show you guys. Please don't judge me. Oh my god, yeah, it was like fall of 2021 is when I got this. Oh my god, I'm like exposing my YouTube. As you can see, it's a little messed up. So yeah, I got this computer in 2021 and it was great, but I did get it from Back Market secondhand. That's where I get all of my electronics. Basically, I just got a notification from Back Market. That's a little creepy. I got my monitor actually from Goodwill, and then I just painted it yellow. Like I said, yellow is my favorite color. It worked great for a full year, and then when I moved back home, my brother like threw something at the screen or something happened and the screen broke, and I was like, ah, that sucks. My other brother spilled, I think it was tea or coffee all over the keyboard, and so the trackpad doesn't work. As you can see, nothing is happening, and then the keyboard doesn't work either. So the only thing that works is like the touch. What's this called? Well, yeah, this is, I think, an example of intentional shopping, because one, I bought it secondhand, and two, I am taking this thing with me to the grave. For the third item, I had to go back into my kitchen to pick it up, but it's my water bottle. And the reason I wanted to bring this up was part of the kind of catalyst for this video was the whole Stanley Cup saga. I've had this for about a year now, and it still works. The reason I wanted to bring this up as like intentional is it's so important that you don't buy things just because they're hyped up. There's like this whole thing with water bottles, which are supposed to be sustainable, turning into trends and turning into like aesthetics, and it pushes people to buy things for the vibe. And especially with something that's supposed to be sustainable, it's so important that you don't buy into the hype. Use what you have for as long as you can, and then when that thing breaks, or I also think it's important to have backups. I don't think you need one water bottle, one spoon, one sock. It's obviously important to have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 water bottles that you can swap between. Don't buy every single new trending type of item. And for some people it's Stanley Cups, but I know for other people it might be, if you're someone who cooks, you might have like 10 different pots. Being intentional in not buying into the hype is really important. Let's move on to the next item. The next intentional item, I went through hell and back getting this record player. This was an example of something that I had on my kind of wish list, bucket list of things that I want to buy for a long time, but I just couldn't find one where the price justified it. Actually, wait. Basically what happened was I got this record player. These are really popular. A lot of people have these. It's like the briefcase ones. I got it at Salvation Army. So I got this for $12, but it didn't have a cord. I went to 2 different thrift stores, found cords. None of them worked. So I was like, okay, I'm in too deep. I then went and got one from Target, plugged it in. It was the wrong type of adapter and it broke the record player. I was so mad. So after that I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back on the lookout for a record player, and I got this one off of Facebook Marketplace for I believe like $20 or something. I'll have to go back and look for the price, but I love the vibe. So I'm really happy with this one. And the current song on here, what song is it at? I think it's Patient Love. Wait. I love this song. So the current record on here is All the Little Lights Anniversary Edition. love this album, and it was my first Passenger album. He's one of my favorite artists. And then I also have SOS by SZA. Before we move on to the next area of my apartment, I wanted to also share the next item, which is this bag. This bag has been with me through thick and thin. I first got this bag sometime last year. I don't remember specifically when, but ever since, I literally wear this bag all day, every day, and it's not my like everyday bag. The style is definitely like early 2000s. I am obsessed with it. I will have it forever, and sometimes even if it doesn't match my outfit, I don't care. I'm still gonna wear it. Please don't mind where I keep my helmet when I'm not using it. It's just close to the door. But this next item is that I, honest to God, have been meaning to start sewing again, but just haven't found the time for it. But I still consider this to be intentional shopping, because the reason I got this is because it has a purpose. There is a reason. Like I said, the first part of intentional shopping is buying things that you need, and something that I really needed is a way to be able to alter my clothes. I'm trying not to buy too many clothes this year. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, is I'm only sticking to 5 things. So far I haven't bought any pieces of clothing, which is unlike me. I'm trying not to buy too many clothes this year, so by having a sewing machine, I can go into my wardrobe and I can update clothes that either don't fit anymore or I just don't like the look, so I can spice them up, make it look a little different and into the style of things that I'm trying to wear. So that's why I got the sewing machine. That's why I still consider it intentional, even though it's collecting dust. And then the next item, so I talked a little bit earlier about not falling into hype and trends, and one surefire way to make sure you're not just doing something, buying something because it's hyped up, is waiting to buy it. I personally had a rule. This is when I was first getting into intentional shopping, first getting into not over consuming. Set the date of when I thought of buying something, and then I would wait, I think like 10 days or 2 weeks or something before I would allow myself to buy that item. I was looking for Doc Martens for so long. I would go to thrift stores. Obviously most thrift stores don't really have Doc Martens, because by the time they land there, some other hip queer person will find them before you. So I ended up finding these at, what's it called? Buffalo Exchange. I think they were like $50 or something, which was a little out of my budget for that one because I had already spent so much on clothes. But I found them, they fit me. I was like, okay, cool, so it's meant to be. So yeah, I was so excited when I got these. I've always wanted Doc Martens just for the vibes, if I'm being honest, but I wear them all the time. They match with so many outfits, and before this I literally had like one pair of shoes that I would wear with everything. Okay, so I was trying to figure out the best way to showcase the next item, so I thought this makes the most sense. So this rug I got for free on the side of the road. That might be a little gross for some people. I did wash it extensively when I first got it, because you know. So the reason that I wanted to bring up this rug is because when it comes to intentional shopping, I think you end up saving money, because do you know how expensive rugs are? This is something that I learned when I became an adult. Yeah, so when I saw this on the side of the road, I was like, yeah, you're coming home with me. I don't care. So the reason you end up saving money is when you wait for things to be a perfect match in terms of the exact item, the quality, and the price. You end up saving money versus just buying things willy-nilly. So I think that's like the major win when it comes to intentional shopping, is when you set like, I'm looking for this item at this price and for this quality. You might wait a little bit longer to get that item, but when you get it, it's going to be a perfect match, and that's when you can keep things that last forever. Let's get up off the ground. The next item is actually up there, but I'll get it down for you guys. Oh, that was not much. So, this is my next item. Let's move back to the bed. Actually, I don't want to put it on my bed. This thing has been to really gross places. So this is my suitcase sticker tour. I got this at the Hoover Dam. I got this from Utah, California, Nevada. Colorado, and this is kind of my souvenir. I also have a YouTube sticker on the top that I got from this like sticker packet, and so the number of times that people have asked me if I'm a YouTuber traveling is so funny. But the reason that I have this in this intentional shopping video, when I actually first got it, it was not a good example of intentional shopping because I got it because I was first moving to France and I did not have a suitcase, or I had one like in my family home, but I thought it was really ugly, so I was like, I'm gonna go buy a suitcase that's cute, even though it's like, dude, when it comes to suitcases, like you use it to get to where you're going and then you put it away, and when you're not using it, it literally just sits in your home. There was no need for me to buy this suitcase, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I've had it for like 3.5 years. Same with my computer. I'm gonna have this thing for as long as I can before I get rid of it, but it is broken, and it actually broke like maybe 2 years ago. As you can see, wait, is it unbroken? Wait, oh wait, it is, yeah. So as you can see, I'm trying to, wait, it unbroke. So I guess it's like not as broken as it was, still kind of janky, but the reason I wanted to touch on this in this video is, once again, keeping things even when they're broken if they're still like useful. And I think I at least had a tendency of like, when something was inconvenient and was a little broken, I'll be like, okay, I gotta replace it now. And I think we definitely live in that world, especially with like planned obsolescence. Like something like this, if something breaks a little, you're like, oh, I gotta replace it. But it's like, we need to get into the mindset of like, well, yeah, it's a little broken, but it's still kicking. And so yeah, even though the suitcase is a little broken, I still like it, and I'm still gonna keep it because it still works for the most part. And then something else that I wanted to bring up related to travel was this little makeup bag that I have. Same thing with like the travel, my suitcase. I feel like after having something like this for like 4 years, we live in a society where someone would be like, I mean, let me buy a new makeup bag. I've had this for long enough. It still works, but I'm gonna buy a new one just because it's been a certain amount of time. And I think we need to like change that mentality. Going back to the first point of intentional shopping, do you need it? Do I actually need a new travel makeup bag? I think we need to ask ourselves, for the most part, do I actually need something, or am I just being pushed to buy this new item even though I have something at home that does the same thing? So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up. But what was the last thing? So this is the final item. You obviously can't see it right now, but the final item is my ring light. So to end this video, let me go through like a final intentional shopping loop process, thought example for something that I think has been one of my like one of the best things I've put money on so far this year. Actually, I bought this in December, but essentially my thought process was like, I really want to make more videos this year. I really want to be more consistent with YouTube. I want to make more content this year. One of the issues I come across is I have a full-time job where I work normally from like 8 to 5, so I don't have enough daylight in the day, especially in the winter, to be able to finish work, get a little bit of rest, eat, and then film a video, and then it not be super dark and grainy. I went online, looked for ring lights, but the first place I looked was of course a Back Market, or I feel like I sound like I'm sponsored by them. I'm not, I just use them all the time. So I went on there, looked for a ring light, I found one, I was like, okay, thank God. And so this is just an example, a good example of the kind of benefits of intentional shopping. And it doesn't mean you don't buy anything ever, it just means you're buying things you need, you're buying them secondhand when possible, and you're keeping them for as long as possible. Intentional shopping is just being more mindful of your shopping habits and making sure that they're aligned with your environmental values. And if you're watching this video, you probably do have environmental values. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and let me know in the description what are some things that you purchased that you think have put a lot of value into your life, and kind of your thought process and mentality behind buying these items. But that being said, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, of course like. If you want to support my channel, I have my Patreon in the description. Thank you for my patrons for helping me make amazing content. If you like this video, you're probably going to like this video where I talk about capitalism and its connection to the environmental crisis and why capitalism is not going to fix our issues. That being said, love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.